Once upon a time, in a remote research facility, a group of scientists decided to conduct an experiment on sleep deprivation. They wanted to understand the limits of the human mind and body when deprived of sleep. 5 volunteers were selected and placed in a sealed room with constant surveillance. The room was equipped with microphones and cameras to monitor their every move. The volunteers were told they couldn't sleep for 30 days. To keep them awake, the scientists pumped a stimulant gas into the room. At first, everything seemed normal. The volunteers chatted, read books, and played games to pass the time. But as the days went by, things started to change. By the 5th day, the volunteers began to show signs of severe stress and paranoia. They whispered to themselves and stared blankly at the cameras. By the 10th day, they were hallucinating, seeing shadows and hearing voices that weren't there. They became aggressive and started to turn on each other. By the 15th day, the volunteers had descended into madness. They screamed and banged on the walls, begging to be let out. The scientists, horrified by what they had unleashed, decided to end the experiment. But when they opened the door, they found a scene straight out of a nightmare. The volunteers were unrecognizable, their bodies gaunt and their eyes wild. They had torn at their own flesh and each other in a frenzy. The room was covered in blood and the air was thick with the smell of decay. The scientists quickly sedated the volunteers and rushed them to a hospital, but it was too late. The damage had been done. The experiment was deemed a failure and the facility was shut down. The story of the sleep deprivation study became a dark legend, a cautionary tale about the dangers of pushing the human mind too far. And to this day, some say that the screams of the volunteers can still be heard echoing through the empty halls of the abandoned research facility.